everyone. Great to be here today. I'm Max, founder of Finmid. Pleasure to have you all as listeners here. Now, before I tell you a little bit about what we do with Finmid, let me tell you a short story here. And you probably don't expect me to say this as somebody that has spent the last decade in Fintech, but Fintech is dead, at least as we know it. In my view, the future of financial services won't be decided in another app. What will decide the future of financial services will be the infrastructure that enables other platforms to provide financial services. Now, let me tell you what I mean with that. And if we look back at what happened in the past decades, you have all these beautiful apps. We've done a great job in really rebuilding financial services for the screen. Better UX, better apps, better experiences for the businesses. But we've kept the same old problem ultimately. Finance still lives outside of where businesses are run. If I'm a business and I want to access my account, I want to access payments, my cards, or financing, I still have to get out of my way to be able to access that. And frankly speaking, that's a bit of an inconvenience. I guess everybody that's running a business here in this room would agree with. Now, let me give you a bit of a story to understand what I really mean with this. This is Nikos. He really exists. He runs a deli in Athens. And earlier this spring, and that's a really true story, he looked at his venue, his terrace, and he thought, well, let me actually invest in some renovations here. My terrace looks a little bit outdated, maybe some new umbrellas, a few new chairs, bit of new color, and then probably I'm going to get a lot more customers. Now, obviously, Nikos does not have the money to just do that out of his free cash flow. He needs capital from somewhere. So what's Nikos doing? He's doing the obvious thing. He goes into his banking app, submits an application, and then it seems fine first, right? The bank says, we'll review your request. And so he's waiting a little bit. 3 days later, he gets a message, and he thinks, great, now the capital is probably on the way to myself. Logs in, checks it, and sees that the bank now wants to see audited financial statements. Now, Nikos doesn't really have those, so he thinks, I'll just submit the management accounts. That should do the trick. Seems same to me. It does that, and thinks he's done. But wrong. The bank disagrees. They need exactly what they've asked him for, and they reject the request for financing. So, disappointed, he abandons the project. He says the terrace can wait another year or two or however long it takes. Now, obviously, Nikos' story continues. Now it's summertime, and one day to another, really just bad luck, one of the display fridges breaks. Now, display fridge is this thing that you have where you present the food to customers, they choose everything that they want to order, and without a display fridge, the business stops. Right? That's game over. You can't run the business. And now he knows, I need money fast, or I'm in really, really serious trouble. That is one thing that's different this time. He does not go back to his bank this time. Instead, he's logging into the software provider that's helping him with the food delivery business. And in there, he has an offer for 20,000 euros available at his hands. He completes 3 clicks. 5 hours later, the money is in his account. He buys a new display fridge, gets it delivered the next day, and business continues to run. Obviously, Nikos now is very, very happy with the platform that has supported him that way. Now, what Nikos does not know, and should not know, is that it's actually Finmid that made this all possible for him. We're entering an era where getting a loan does no longer require you to go to a bank. Instead, capital live inside the apps I'm using anyways to run my business, to serve my customers. And the capital will be embedded in the workflows that enable me as a business. Now, with Finmid today, we've already extended offers to 150,000 businesses all across Europe. We're covering 30 countries here as much as we really possibly can. And the trick behind that is that none of these businesses, none of these 150,000 businesses have ever seen us. Instead, we put that into the platforms that they use on a daily basis. And that meant by embedding lending in the place where they run the business, they can access capital on tap when they need it and how they need it. And that really is the whole point of this exercise. Now, that means we're really having a foundational breakthrough here, where instead of forcing businesses to go out of their way, and when they need money, access it somewhere else and explain what they're doing, really feeding on the thesis that access should be capital, not within separate apps, but within the workflows you're running on already anyways. Now, the problem is if you think about execution there, and that's where it has been breaking in the past, is that that's not an easy endeavor. You have multiple markets, you have different currencies, you have different regulations, you have different payment rails. And what we've done is really go through the complexity and manage to build on top of it. Today, any software platform that serves SMEs in Europe can build any kind of lending product they can imagine for any market in Europe with one partner and through one API, simply by working with us, with Finmid. Now, let's quickly take a look at what Finmid can do for the partners here. Now, you probably remember Nikos, right? We just talked about him ultimately probably 2 minutes ago. The great thing about Nikos is he's not alone. We believe in the growth potential of small and medium-sized businesses. We believe in the growth potential of Europe, and we're here to support that growth through hard times and through ideas like renovations. What can that look like practically? Somebody like Bo, who's running a rental units management business in Denmark and Spain, can get access to financing for renovations through a company like Your Rentals. Or somebody like Jacob, who's running a food stall in Vienna on a market there, can buy a new one when it breaks, when he needs it, via a platform like Delivery Hero. Now, that's the whole point here, right? There's a fundamental shift in where capital flows, removing it from separate apps to workflows, fully embedded, easily accessible, and much, much more convenient than it historically has been. We want to make sure here that the future of access to capital is not decided in a bank steering committee. It should be put in the hands of the platform product roadmaps so they can decide and they can support the businesses how they think it works best for them. And our mission here as Finmid ultimately is making capital invisible, making it incredibly easy for platforms to do that, to serve the small businesses of Europe as easy as they possibly can, so that growth can happen not just for the ones that are fortunate enough to have a good relationship with their banking partner, but really for any small businesses here in Europe. Thank you, everyone.